Welcome to NoobAquatics. This is Matthew. Thank you again for coming back to our wonderful and awesome fish room that we have here. Today we're going to talk about bettas and hatching the eggs without the dad, without the mom. You know how that goes. We breed 3 different types of bettas here. All right, and we'll get to that in just a second. But first, if you like this channel, if you want to see more videos and want to stay up to date when we do have them available, make sure you subscribe and hit that like button. Now, like I said, we breed 3 different kinds of bettas. Let's get into those 3 bettas real quick, and then I'll explain what we just did. All right, so down here, all right, 10-gallon tank. Down here we have a pair of wild bettas. These are the wild betta embolists. You can see the male right there. He is showing off to the female in the back there on the right. And he loves to make his bubble nest right there. Alright, so he likes to make bubble nests in these red root floaters right over here. And if he doesn't have them, he just makes his bubble nest against the wall right there. Alright, so a beautiful pair in which you can see there's the male showing off to the female. They do just fine together in this tank. The female is beautiful. She is in breeding colors. They are about to actually mate again and lay some more eggs. Alright, but this guy right here, he keeps eating the babies and the eggs. So does she. So I'll explain what we did there in just a second. Let's go over here. Boom. Alright, so right here we have a tank raised pair from wild caught parents. The Betta Schmerigdina guitar pattern. You see the male's right there. Beautiful looking male. It's hard to get a good picture of him, but hopefully he'll come up and show off for us here. They're in very high tanned water, of course, as you can see. Let's get a picture of him on the side here. There he is. It's funny, he's green right now. Sometimes he's blue, sometimes he's kind of a reddish green color. But yeah, there's the male right there. Female's in there too somewhere. She's probably hiding on the other side. I don't know where, but she's in there. She's smaller, not as colorful, but you know, the female bettas are not. Now this guy right here, he breeds with the female. They create a lot of eggs, but for some reason this guy eats the eggs too. We don't know why. He's had at least 7 tries now, so we're going to keep giving him tries, but again, we'll explain what we did here. Down here we have the Betta albi marginatas in here. In here we currently have 1 male that's actually holding fry. Soon, after about a week, I will take him out and put him in his own little enclosure inside the tank so that he can live there in peace. And after, 20 days or so, he'll start to release the fry into his safe little quarters. There's a little bitty one right there. You can see some more right over in the corner there. Some in the back. But yeah, so one of the males in here is holding for us. Now, like I said, those 2 here, the bubble nesters, they keep eating the eggs. They keep eating the fry. And it's not because the female's in there, it's because they just do that sometimes. So what did we do? We decided to give it a try and pull the eggs and the bubble nest out and try to hatch them separately in another container. So let's take a look at those containers. Alright, so here's the container. Now, you can see it only has about 1.5 inches of water in there. Inside I have 3 leaves. The leaves will act as an antibacterial. I didn't want to put methylene blue in this one here. Got a heater in there to keep it at temp 78. Alright, I don't know if you can see all the babies, but a bunch of babies right there. Right there in that little corner, a bunch of babies there. There's a bunch more all over the place. Right there, they're all around the nets. But we basically just scooped out the eggs and the bubble nest and just kind of threw them on top of one of these leaves. And then after two days, pretty much 2 days, they started hatching. They were wigglers for about a day, and then they are just now in this group right here. These are the Smaragdina. I'll put the name up in the top corner. These guys right here just now started to swim freely, and I just today started to feed them fry food and infusoria. Alright, so that's in there. The Albi marginatas, they do just fine with holding, but because they get, have too many, the female stays in there with them, the male ends up holding for too long and never releases the fry. So let's go take a look at the other one real quick. I gotta stir my dinner here. I'm making homemade mac and cheese. So you can do 2 things at once. You can make a video and, cook dinner at the same time. Here is the cheese sauce. It's got sausage in it. It's got, the stuff ready to go for the cheese. So as soon as the noodles are ready, I'm going to put the noodles in here. Alright. And then I'm going to mix in the actual real cheese. Alright, so that's our dinner. We're going to have that tonight. There's tomatoes in there too. Alright, so let's go take a look at the other one. So over here, this is where we tested out whether or not pulling out the eggs would work or not. So the other ones, the Bubblenest, like I said, they were having issues with eating the eggs. So I grabbed a takeout food container. Yes, a takeout food container from a Chinese restaurant. Alright, and then here you can see I have the leaves as well down in there. Same thing, we just scooped out the eggs in the Bubblenest and put it right there on top of the leaf. And then here we have about 37 babies. Alright, and they are all free swimming fry. Let's see if we can get a little bit closer in here. So you can see there's one right there, bunch right there, bunch right there, bunch over in that corner. You see bunch over there, you see them all over there, bunch over there, bunch over here. But yeah, so they didn't need to stay in the Bubblenest. And the reason why, again, this, not very big. We only have about maybe 1.25 inches of water in this one here because it's smaller. Alright, aged water in there. I didn't, put fresh water. I got some plants in there. I got a grow light right here. Alright, and then I got a little bit of bubbles going, but not enough because if they have too much flow, it might kill them. But, so that is our progress so far. And yes, you can hatch babies by scooping out the Bubblenest and the eggs and putting them in a separate container. It's pretty easy. You just scoop it out in there and give them a little bit of space, not much. I use the catappa leaves to keep it antibacterial free, but I'm not opposed to using methylene blue. I do have it right here. And you've seen me in my other videos. I've used methylene blue. Alright, I will come back later when actually these guys get a little bit bigger, and I'll show you the progress of how they survived and how they turned out in a later snapshot of the video. Alright, I can't leave you hanging. I gotta show you the finished product of our dinner. Alright, there it is. That's the finished product of our homemade mac and cheese using sausage, tomatoes, real cheese, and several other ingredients and some seasonings. Looks delicious. Wonderful, wonderful mac and cheese. Alright, figured I'd let you see that since you know it was done. Alright, we are now, what, 2 weeks in, maybe 2.5 weeks in on raising these baby bettas by taking out the eggs and the Bubblenest and putting them in a container by itself. I'm going to show you how they're doing. So let's take a look. Alright, so this is their container. It is hard to see them because they are in basically tea. So let's take a look. There's one right there. There's a whole bunch right here. See them all over there. See another one there. More over there. Let's see here. There's one. Yep, a whole bunch of them in there. Right there, moving around, you see the shadow. One right there. Shadow is easier to see. One right in the center of the screen. When I tried to do this, they're even harder to see, which is really weird. But there's a lot more that I can't really get good footage of. But yeah, ton of them in there right now. They're doing really well. I have just a trickle of bubbles coming through. Well, no lighting except for this thing right here. That's the only lighting that I use. This is a special breeding project with Betta for 2 different color strains. Right now they have horizontal stripes on their body, which is pretty cool, so we'll see if we can bring that out. Alright, now we're in here and we'll take a look at my wife's betas. Alright, so we pulled them from this guy right here. Well, it is hard to see. There he is right there. He doesn't want to be seen. He's hiding under his leaf. He is a blue Smaragdina guitar. He wasn't too happy that I took his eggs last time. So yeah, so in here, really hard to see in here because the water is almost the same color as the babies. But let's see if we can shine some light on them. So, I don't know if you can see that one right there. It's right there. Right in front of my fingertip. A couple of them right there. You can see them moving around. There's a bunch under this wisteria. There's about 30 of them in here as well that are alive. See a little guy over there. I don't know why, but they're hanging out around this the bubble. Never really understood that. Tons and tons of springtails. They're just hanging out on this leaf. Watch this. See the springtails? Look at them bouncing all over the place. There's a bunch of babies under that leaf. Can't really see them so well in here, but they hide pretty good in this one. There's one right there. It's right there, right in front of my fingernail. There's a little guy right there, see? But yeah, so it's going pretty good. First time we've ever tried that. We're gonna have to figure something out with this right here because he swallowed the bait. He swallowed the eggs, so we'll figure that out. We have before. We'll do it again. All right, so that's the current progress of the beta breeding project. And like I said, it's new to us. We've never pulled the eggs from the betas, especially the bubble nesters. It's our first time for us, and we didn't even know you could. So we pulled them, threw them in a tub, and we're basically hatching them like we do with any other fish egg. All right, stay tuned for a follow-up coming soon. All right, we're back here to the beta egg hatching without the dad. All I did was pull the eggs directly out, so I'm gonna show you what I mean. So if you see right up there, you see the bubble nest. All I did was just take that, I just scooped it out. All right, and that's a huge bubble nest, by the way. Just scooped it out and just plopped it into the container. That's it. The eggs were floating. I didn't really have to do much. When you do that though, you want to make sure you only have about 1 inch right here, or 1 to 2 inches. I tend to keep bubbles going, but really low. So if you see how low that is, all right. And in here we got tons of babies, but they are hard to see because of the color of the water. So let's see if we can find one. They've gotten pretty big. There's one right there. It's hard to see, but there's one right there. He didn't like that. Where'd he go? There. Right there, there's one for you. You see how big they are? There's another one over there to the right. There's quite a few in here, but they're hard to find. They like to hide. But they've gotten pretty big. So is this doable? Absolutely. You can take the eggs. You can take the eggs directly out of the tank. So if you have a guy like ours who's in basically 30 TDS water, almost pure RO water. Same thing with those guys over there, almost pure RO water, and yet they still keep eating the eggs, and it's just a male and a female in there. Not really sure why they do that, but for some reason he just keeps eating the eggs. And so if you have a guy like ours and you want to actually breed them and actually hatch some eggs, then I suggest you do this method. Just scoop the eggs out. Just literally just go in there and scoop them out. Take your hand in the X water and just dump them down. Not very hard. You can use a leaf, you can use a cup, anything you want to scoop them out with, and just put them into a container like I showed you there, and you know, they hatch just fine. So let's take a look at, so those ones I just showed you were my wife's Smaragdinas. Let's take a look at the wild Betta Bubblenest that we have growing out as well. So you see that guy? Look how big that guy is. There's also a ton in here too. I've taken 2 batches of eggs out. See here. There's one right there. Some of them grow a little bit faster. They got this giant leaf to hide under, but there's probably about 20 in there as well. We'll see how many actually make it. There's one or two of them underneath that heater right there. There's one way down there at the bottom. So yeah, they're doing good. This method works pretty well. So, and that way we actually are going to have some betas to take care of and sell later. Now, one thing I recommend though is have catappa leaves, because catappa leaves helps keep bacteria down. You could put, I guess essentially you could put the eggs in methylene blue, but I was trying it without the methylene blue just to see how well this method would work. Alright, well, thank you so much for coming back to NoobAquatics. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you enjoyed the journey of watching these little babies grow up. I'll take a video much later to show you what they look like when they're older. But thanks again, and I hope you have a wonderful fishy day. Remember to subscribe and like. Catch you next time.